You know, in the world of tech, some acquisitions just make sense. And then there are the ones that make you do a double take and go, wait, what? Well, today we are diving deep into one of those. The AI giant Anthropic just bought Bun, the super popular JavaScript toolkit. So let's break down what's really going on here because this is a much bigger deal than it looks on the surface.
So let's be clear, this is a bit of an odd couple. On one side, you've got Bun, a JavaScript runtime that is absolutely obsessed with speed and performance for developers. And on the other, you've got Anthropic, a company on the bleeding edge of AI research, building these massive language models. It's a mashup of hardcore developer tools and the wild frontier of artificial intelligence.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the whole reason we're here. This move seems like it came completely out of left field. But as you're about to see, when you pull back the curtain, there's this fascinating story about frustration and obsession with speed, a huge plot twist from the world of AI, and a really smart bet on how all of us will be building software in the future.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to rewind a bit. You have to understand Bun's origin story. And here's the kicker. It has nothing to do with AI. Not at all. It actually starts with one developer's personal frustration with a process that was just agonizingly slow.
That's a quote from Jared Sumner, the guy who created Bun. So picture this. About 5 years ago, he's building a game in his browser, and every single time he makes a change, he has to sit there and wait 45 seconds for it to reload. 45 seconds. Now, most people would just sigh and live with it. Not Jared. He got completely obsessed with fixing it, and that one obsession planted the seed for what would become this entire toolkit.
And from day one, Bun was all about one thing: performance. I mean, look at this. The very first benchmark Jared ran showed his new tool was almost 200 times faster than Babel, which was the standard tool everyone was using. This wasn't just a small improvement. This was a complete game changer. And that focus on speed really paid off. The project's growth was just explosive. It first dropped in mid-2022 and immediately made a huge splash. By late 2023, it hit its stable 1.0 release and was already a go-to tool for tons of developers. It was a total rocket ship.
And you want to know just how much of a rocket ship we're talking about? In its very first week, 1 week, the project got 20,000 stars on GitHub. That is an insane amount of buzz from the developer community. It was a massive sign that Jared's frustration with slow tools wasn't just his problem. It was a pain point for millions of us. So, Bun's on this amazing path, right? But then, the story takes a huge, sharp turn nobody saw coming. Around late 2024, AI coding assistants went from being a cool demo to something that was genuinely, mind-blowingly useful. And this massive shift in the tech landscape accidentally made Bun one of the most important tools on the planet. The secret sauce was this one specific feature. Bun could take an entire JavaScript project and package it all down into a single self-contained file. Just one file that could run on any computer anywhere without needing to install Node.js or Bun or anything else. It was fast, simple, and unbelievably portable.
And you can probably guess why that was so huge for the new wave of AI. Companies like Anthropic could build their AI coding agents, like Claude Code, using plain old JavaScript. Then they could use Bun to wrap it all up in that one single file and ship it out to millions of users. It just worked, everywhere, instantly.
But all this incredible success created a brand new problem. Bun was super popular, it was technically brilliant, but it was also a startup backed by venture capital. And it was starting to face that classic critical problem that plagues so many amazing open source projects. And the problem was this number right here. Despite millions in funding and millions of downloads, Bun's revenue was zero. Zilch. It was a fantastic product, a tool that developers absolutely loved, but it wasn't a business. And that creates a massive question mark about its long-term future.
This was the question on everybody's mind. I mean, think about it. If you're a developer who is betting your company's entire infrastructure on Bun, you have to know, is this thing still going to be around in 5 years, 10 years? And just running on VC funding forever, that's not a sustainable plan. And this really lays out the two paths Bun was facing. Path number one is the typical startup route, right? You face intense pressure from your investors to make money. You probably have to build some kind of cloud hosting product and compete in a super crowded market. Or there was path number two, the Anthropic path. This offered a way to just skip that whole painful monetization chapter and keep focusing on what they do best, building the core tool.
So you have to understand
This acquisition wasn't a lifeline. It was a deliberate, strategic choice. It was a bet from both Anthropic and Bun on what the future of writing software is actually going to look like.
This is the real question hiding behind this whole deal. When AI tools are getting this good, this fast, the very nature of what it means to be a software engineer is about to change radically. And that massive change makes the underlying tools and infrastructure more important than ever.
I mean, just think it through. In a future where AI agents are writing the code, testing the code, deploying the code, the sheer volume of code is going to skyrocket. Human developers become more like supervisors, more like architects. And in that world, the environment that all this code runs in has to be incredibly fast and super predictable. The runtime isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It becomes absolutely critical.
A really great way to think about this new relationship is to look at web browsers. Google invests a ton of money into its V8 engine because that's what makes Chrome fast and powerful. Apple does the exact same thing with its JavaScript core engine for Safari. Well, now you can think of Anthropic doing the same thing, investing in the Bun runtime to make its AI coding products the best in the world.
So, the big question. What does all of this actually mean for you, for the developers out there who are using Bun every single day? Let's break down the practical side of this news. Okay, first, what stays the same? The important stuff. Bun is still going to be open source, still MIT licensed, it's still being built in public on GitHub by the exact same team, with that same obsession for speed and compatibility. Now what's new is huge. Bun now has long-term stability and the resources of a major AI lab behind it. The team gets a front-row seat to the future of AI, which means Bun will be perfectly built for it, and development itself is probably going to get even faster.
And that stability, it matters to a lot of people. Right now, Bun is getting over 7.2 million downloads every month. This acquisition secures a critical piece of infrastructure that a huge portion of the developer community now relies on.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big picture thought. Instead of forcing these essential open source tools to go down that really difficult path of trying to make money, maybe this is the new model. Could strategic acquisitions by the big tech companies that depend on these tools be the new way to guarantee their survival? It's a fascinating idea, and Bun and Anthropic might have just given us a very compelling answer.